names of the nominees. The confirmed nominees include Oluwaseun Ajoba, Latifat Agbaje, and Tajuddin Giwa. The election tribunal is expected to be responsible for adjudicating disputes that may follow the February 22 local government election in the state.
We received a letter from Osun State Judiciary. The Honorable Speaker, Osun State House of Assembly, Osun State. Mr. Speaker, request for confirmation of the chairman and members of Osun State Local Government Election Tribunal and Osun State Local Government Election Appeal Tribunal. In line with the provision of Section 93(4) of the Osun State Independent Electoral Commission Amendment No. 1, Law 2024, hereby presents the name of the nominees.
In the meantime, the chairman of the Osun State Election Independent Electoral Commission, Ashim Abioye, says the commission has the capacity to deliver on its mandate to conduct a successful local government election set for February 22. Speaking on WSTV's Morning Spring, Mr. Abioye highlighted plans put in place for a peaceful and credible poll. He also revealed that OSEC just launched a unit called Campaign Against Cybercrime, Cultism and Drug Abuse. Mr. Abioye assured the public that the upcoming local government election will not be a waste of public funds.
To that commission in November 2023, there was nothing on ground to say these were the facilities that you could boast of. You could not say that this was a body that is saddled with the responsibility of conducting the government, or you cannot even say that this was the body that conducted the so-called yes or no election.
In terms of what?
In terms of facilities, in terms of infrastructures. The place was like a jungle. In fact, not like a jungle, it was a jungle.
The headquarters?
Yes, it was a jungle. Apart from that, there was no facility on ground that you could point to. No computer, no laptop, no printer. If you look at the hall, you will think that, oh, it's unfortunate that I didn't come along with some of the pictures. We could have shown people here to see OSEC that we met and see OSEC of today. You can come around and see what we have today. So today, I can boast of an OSEC that has high IT facilities. I can boast of OSEC whose infrastructures have been improved. I can boast of OSEC that has a capacity to deliver on its mandate using IT facilities. We have gone digital. So, like I've rightly mentioned here, our recruitment is basically online. Most of our activities are basically online. We now have a situation room where we can give a real-time report of the situation on ground. I can tell you that today at OSEC, even those who were there before we came in, if they come to OSEC today, they will themselves acknowledge that there will be arrangement for that.
You're on top of that matter.
We are on top
Nobody
of that.
should be disenfranchised.
We are on top of that. In fact, we now have the Bureau of People with Disability in the states, and the executive secretary of that bureau, I had a meeting with him in the office last week. That is to tell you that we are carrying every stakeholder along, including
cutting short.
It won't be a waste of.
Why should they come out to vote?
The people of Osun State should come out to vote. They should be alive to their responsibility. This is local government election, which is the closest to the grassroots. And this time around, it is going to be a...
With the Osun State local government election just a few weeks away, the State Electoral Commission, OSEC, has been urged to ensure that the poll is free and fair. This is as residents are also gearing up to participate in the election with expectations that their votes will count. Lydia Adebaju completes the story.
It is just a few weeks to the Osun State local government elections, and expectations are high on the part of residents. Speaking to residents in Osogbo, the state capital, many are hoping the incoming government would look into the development of the grassroots. This is especially because of the financial autonomy which was granted to all the 774 local governments in Nigeria last year by a Supreme Court ruling. This means the local government will now take charge of how revenues are discharged. However, they are still answerable to the state's House of Assembly. On the readiness of residents to participate in the election, Mrs. Ibidun Oluwayemisi and Mr. Ali Rasco said they will come out to vote for their candidates of choice on the D-Day. However, Mr. Rasco would like the candidates to have inner road construction as part of their plans, amongst other things.
Agbọ́n parẹ̀ pé wọ́n máa dìbò local government. Àwọn náà sì ti múra lẹ́ẹ̀dẹ̀ láti dìbò.
I'm very prepared for the elections. The elections are coming in February. And part of the basic responsibilities of local government is the rural roads, electrification, and sanitation is part of their responsibility too. Also, provision of potable water. I expect the local government will, the chairman or the incoming chairman will strive hard to do well in such expectations.
Meanwhile, Mr. Akinola Akinjide believes the election is just another day for the influential to flex their powers, just as he lamented the low level of awareness from the candidates.
It's going to be as usual. It's going to be as usual, the way we do it in Nigeria, or the politician does it in Nigeria. And votes don't count. Votes don't matter to them. So I think they will just, the power that be will just write whoever they want to be there. There is no campaign anywhere, like you can see. I've never heard of any campaign from any political party so far.
Similarly, architect Adepoju Gbadegeshin is of the opinion that the ruling party in the state would have a field today.
It's going to be a bit tough, you know. When you know how to use power, when you know how to use power, to get the power out of your hand will be very difficult. Yes, this my friend who's an APC man, but I'll tell him the truth. The governor is performing. Automatically, it's very difficult to wrestle power from the present governor.
On her part, Mrs. Jumade Durojaye only wants the State Electoral Commission to ensure that the results reflects the mind of the electorate and that the election is void of any irregularities.
So I'm just trying to appeal to all those who are concerned to put your hands on deck, cross every T's and dot every I's to ensure that all that is needed to be done is done, and that the outcome of the election will be what people have voted for. Not what will be, how do I put it? That they will not feel that, okay, this new government is being forced on them.
Meanwhile, civil societies have called on the Osun State Electoral Commission, OSIEC, to be more transparent in its preparation for the polls and to also carry the people along. Electorates have also been urged to actively participate in the campaigns by asking the necessary questions. In the meantime, Osun electorate would expect the State Electoral Commission to conduct a free and fair election that is void of state's interference. Lydia Adegbaju, Western Spring Television News.
Still in Osun State, the leadership under the government, under the leadership of Governor Ademola Adeleke, has several times promised to transform the state's economy and identify opportunities and strengthen various sectors that will attract investors and add more value to the state. To discuss how well the state government has been able to achieve this is a special advisor to Governor Adeleke and the Chief Executive Officer of Osun State Investment Promotion Agency, OSIPA, Mr. Olalekan Felix Olagunju. Thank you for joining us on the news at 7.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. In September 2024, you met with some federal and state stakeholders towards evaluating ways through which OSIPA can attract investments. It's been 5 months since that engagement. What positive developments have occurred so far?
Well, first and foremost, I would like to correct that the first stakeholder meeting we had was not how to facilitate investment in the state. We would understand that Osun State Investment Promotion Agency has been moribund for some time, and then the executive governor of Osun State, Senator Adeleke, actually resuscitated the agency. So the first stakeholders meeting we had was to actually bring all our stakeholders back and let them understand that the agency is back into action. And then one of the things we did was to understand some of the challenges some of them are, encountering, in the course of trying to do business in the state. In that meeting, we talked about some of the challenges of people trying to get CFOs. And then another one was actually we talked about, the Bank of Industry was there. They were trying to get people to actually get loan from them. So, and the challenges people are facing from actually accessing this loan. So, which is actually, getting the CFOs as collateral, and then also getting civil servants to sign, as guarantor for them. So some of these things we actually mitigate. And right now I can tell you that currently in Osun State, you can get your CFO within 45 days.
Wow.
Of application, yes.
All right. The Osun State, okay, let's not talk about the meeting with the federal and state government stakeholders. What has been done so far? The
meeting with federal and state government stakeholders?
It's been months evaluating ways through which OSIPA can attract investments, into the state. It's been months now.
That is correct. So now, so I will also let you understand that Osun State Investment Promotion is a sectoral of commerce. Now, after that stakeholders meeting, one of the things we did was also to did the last investment summit, which was viewed worldwide, and we had investors all over the world who came, and actually it was a 4 days program, and the executive governor of the state was also there in attendance to meet with all these investors. And we actually spoke with a lot of investors, and the one that we realized actually had the capacity and the requirement, we identified 15 of them. And right now we're actually in talking terms with them, and the governors actually approved about 8 of them. And very soon you still start seeing the impact of what they're doing in the state in various areas.
All right. As part of ways to, attract investment, ease of doing business is one of those factors.
That's correct.
That will aid that.
That's correct.
What is the agency doing in that respect?
Oh, well, you have to understand that as far as ease of doing business is concerned, it's about making sure that every investor that comes into the state doesn't have a hitch block.
Yeah.
No impediment that will stop them from actually moving forward in actually actualizing their goal of investing in the state. So ease of doing business is actually what that is all about. Now, in doing that, part of what our excellency, the governor, is doing is actually create a lot of policies and programs which will make it easier for them to be able to come into the state and embark on investment in the state in various areas that they want to go in. Yeah, doing something on that.
All right. What would you consider the investment potentials embedded in Osun State?
Oh my God, there's so many investment potential in Osun State. Honestly, there's a lot of them. But first, I will start from agriculture. You understand that, number one, in Osun State we have arable lands, which would serve, as a bedrock for farming here. Number one. Number two is that we have security, which is not common in most states. You can come, get, land and then, plants, and then nobody will actually disturb you, no security issues. And then the second one is in the area of culture and tourism. Now, our governor, the performing governor, loves culture and tourism. And we identify so many areas that we need to touch, that past administration had neglected. Now, in his bid, some months back, the governor actually visited Enijesha Waterfall. And part of what he was wanting to do was to make sure that place is developed, and meets attract people that can actually visit the place and touch it in a way that it will not lose the cultural values that it had. One of it is also having, hoteliers around whereby people can, visit the site, can lodge. And if you understand, that was a way of generating revenue into the state. So now another one is in the area of natural resources. You understand that Osun State is actually endowed when it comes to gold and some other natural resources. And we're also trying to canvas investors into those areas as well. We know some investors are already in there, but it's a large place. What they've done is just only 5% of what we had. We still have over 95% that we're looking at, for investors to come into those areas and start doing mining, And then another one is ICT, So we have so many areas.
All right, you talked about tourism the other time. And you mentioned only Erin-Jesha. It seems the attention of the government is basically focused on Erin-Jesha, whereas we have some other tourism centers in this Osun State. What is the administration doing in that particular regard?
Well, let me say something. I just mentioned that in passing, just to let you know the governor was there. The other side that the governor has visited that was not actually so pronounced as that, however. Now, if to mention a few that we have actually earmarked that, these are, potential places investor can invest is, for instance, the Kiriji Memorial Park in Iresi.
Where the Kiriji War
that is correct.
Took place.
That is correct. That is one. And then we have this waterfall,
Yukunuba, or something like that.
Over there. So we have a lot. The fact that I mentioned that doesn't mean we have other areas that we are actually trying to.
I just want to be sure that other areas are being touched.
No, other areas are actually being touched as well.
Because people out there, they want to know.
That is correct. There's numerous areas that we need to touch that, I can't recollect off my head right now, except I have, the list of them in front of me. All
right. After your meeting, you talked about the investment summit the other time.
That's correct.
Since people are anxious, they want to know what's going to come out of it. Like, when should we start seeing? When should we expect to start seeing things around us?
Well, you have to understand one thing about investments. It is not just a day job. It's not a day thing. It takes time. There's so many moving parts. Investors have to do their due diligence. We have to do our due diligence. Make sure we get them to the, to the table. Everything is, as it is before, Now, I will also tell you categorically that the governor has signed with about 8 investors currently. And they are currently
foreign investors.
Foreign investors. They are currently working. And I can tell you, in the next few months, you will start seeing them putting, things into place, and, you know that we actually did something.
In what areas are they actually looking at? Is it tourism? Is it the mineral resources? Which areas? Can you just...
So the last investment summit, people came from different walks of life, various areas, various countries. And every one of them that came had specific targets in various fields. Now, I will tell you, like I said, a few of them are actually coming into agriculture. Some of them are coming into mining. Some of them are coming into real estate. And then some of them are coming into ICT. So, and... but that's the area they're coming into anyway.
So that means we're going to have a kind of a diversified
that is correct. One of them that I remember at the top of my head is Smart City. Hold on. I think Smart City, we have, who else? Let me see. I think I have something written here. Smart City, we have Safety Tech, we have Raziel, to mention a few. So, and they are coming to various areas. The Smart City is actually into real estate. You can see. So Raziel is into something else. So that's the way they were spread out in all various sectors.
All right. During the summit, Governor Ademola Adeleke said his administration aimed to create about 1 million direct and indirect jobs through the revitalized Free Trade Zone initiative. How is this being implemented?
Yeah. So the 1 million direct and indirect jobs is also going to come from that investment summit. Remember, I told you we already had 8 capable investors right now By the time they start working, I can assure you that you said 1 million, it might be more than that.
Because what we're looking at is, when some companies are coming in, we are coming into your country to come and do this and that. And when they come in, they bring in people to come and work for them. Is there a concrete agreement that, when you come into our state, this is the amount of people we do this, this is the number of people we work with you, this is the number of people we work with?
Remember, in the governor's address during the investment summit, he said direct, indirect.
Indirect, yeah.
So from what he just mentioned, you realize that he said direct and indirect. So they already had an understanding that, look, when you come in here, we want our people employed.
Power is one of the basic areas of advantage in Osun State. Before, I don't know whether it is still like that now. Talking about electricity, because that is the bedrock of any industrialization. When power is stable, the investors can really enjoy whatever they are doing around. Is there anything the state government is doing in that regard, so that when these investors come in, that we have a successful landing in terms of power, in terms of electricity, in terms of just to make their work smoother?
His Excellency Senator Jackson Ademola Adeleke's selling point is actually power. Now, if you recollect that Osun State is the hub of the power generation company. So if you evaluate, compare Osun State to other states, you will realize that we enjoyed stable electricity supply in Osun State than other states. I've been to Lagos so many times, I've been to Ibadan so many times. The kind of power supply we enjoy here, stable electricity, I would say sometimes we have 24-hour supply.
Sometimes. But recently,
Well, you have to remember recently there's something that we heard that had to do with the grid, with the national grid, that actually affected electricity supply. So when that problem is appropriately addressed, you realize that we'll go back to who we used to be, what the state used to be, that stable supply of electricity. And that is still there.
All right. Thank you very much. I've been speaking with the special advisor to the governor, Governor Adeleke, and the Chief Executive Officer of Osun State Investment Promotion Agency, OSIPA, Mr. Olaliko Olatunji. Thank you very much for coming on News at 7.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. All right, we go on a short break. When we return, still to come, gunmen kidnapped 4 persons at Chikakore area of Kubwa in the Buhari Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory. We'll bring you more on this when we return.
Arrested, affected, sound, found. What do we see? What do we say? Flowing from a spring. A fact A to Z. Check and confirm. Ever expounding current events. Traveling down from the business gist to the globally arising happenings, to the sports news, to the bittersweet infos. Guided transmission, even diffusion, vast and fast, detailed facts are fled. Within seconds, nuggets of words that flew across borders are fired. Stories short and long, wrapped in bundles of words, broken and dissected as it is, except misheard. This is the news as it is.
Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela was an anti-apartheid activist who gave his all for the elimination of what has been described as the world's most vicious rule of the unjust and man's inhumanity against man. He was born July 18, 1918 in Mvezo, South Africa. Educated and trained as a successful legal practitioner, he took up the gauntlet of a human activist against segregation by the minority white suprematists in South Africa. At the climax of his trial for treason, orchestrated by the minority South African government, the great crusader for democratic equality was prepared to pay the supreme sacrifice to establish majority majority rule in his native land. He told white jurists that if achieving freedom for his people was worth his life, he was prepared to die. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in Robben Island, described as the most notorious prison in the world. It was from this same prison that he came out as a free man to assume office as South Africa's first black president in 1994. Western Spring Television identifies Nelson Mandela as a watershed character in history.
Our comedy is winning fans globally, but we are losing our wildlife to illegal bushmeat, and this is not funny at all. If we continue this way, we will risk losing all our animals and leaving nothing behind for the generations to come. Tell your family and friends not to buy or sell illegal bushmeat, because protecting nature protects us all.
Welcome back. This is still News at 7 on Western Spring Television. A reminder of our headlines. Mojisola Miranda officially moves into Lagos Speaker's office despite Mudashiru Basa's rejection of impeachment. Osun State House of Assembly confirms 3 nominees for local government election tribunal. Suspected killer of 24-year-old corps member Salome Adaidu pleads not guilty following arraignment. On the foreign scene, Israel confirms death of 8 hostages due to be released in the coming weeks. Timileyin Ajayi, the 32-year-old suspected killer of the 24-year-old National Youth Service Corps member Salome Adaidu, has been arraigned at the High Court of Justice in Lafia, Nasarawa. Ajayi, a gospel singer, was charged with culpable homicide punishable by death, contrary to Section 2021 of the Penal Code of Northern Nigeria. However, he pleaded not guilty to the allegation during his arraignment today before Justice Simon Aboki. Ajayi was taken into police custody in Nasarawa on January 12 after he was allegedly found with the severed head of his girlfriend Adaidu in a polythene bag. Adaidu, who served at Nikon Insurance in Abuja, had visited the suspect's house in the Papalana axis of New Karshi in Karu local government area of Nasarawa. Ajayi earlier confessed to murdering Adaidu in a fit of anger after discovering she allegedly cheated on him. To security, Nigerian rapper Speed Darlington on Monday said he narrowly escaped an alleged assassination attempt. While hinting his fans on X, he said the incident occurred in the early hours of Monday on his way from a club in the Victoria Island area of Lagos State. The allegation comes just days after his release from the detention in Kuje prison, where he was held for undisclosed charges. Also, in a video shared on his Instagram page, Darlington revealed that unknown gunmen shot at his car multiple times, leaving it severely damaged. The video footage showed bullet holes at the rear of the vehicle. Gunmen suspected to be kidnappers invaded the Chikakore area of Kubwa, located in the Buari Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory, in the early hours of Monday. No fewer than 4 residents were abducted during the attack. The spokesperson for the police command, Josephine Ade, revealed that the kidnappers disguised themselves as vigilante members. She said the 4 abducted individuals were from the same family, adding that a neighbor who attempted to intervene sustained injuries. Moving on, rights activist Omoyele Sowore was on Monday grilled at the Force Intelligence Bureau in Abuja over his recent viral extortion video involving some police officers. In the video, Sowore alleged that the officers were engaged in some illegalities on the Murtala Mohammed International Airport Road in Lagos State. He had an altercation with some of the police officers who flagged down a car conveying him to the airport in Lagos and asked the driver to park. The viral video sparked several reactions, causing the police to invite him for further interrogation. Sowore arrived at the Force Intelligence Bureau with his lawyers and a few supporters who sang solidarity songs. In a post on X this evening, Toure said the police requested that he should deposit his international passport and provide a level 16 civil servant as a guarantor for bail, but he added that he declined the conditions and opted to remain in police custody. The Federal Road Safety Corps has revealed that 5,421 people were killed in road traffic crashes across Nigeria in 2024. This is a 7% increase from the 5,081 fatalities recorded in 2023. This was disclosed during a news briefing by the Corps Marshal Shehu Mohammed in Abuja on Monday, marking the conclusion of a Corps' Operation Zero Tolerance Special Patrol campaign. Mohammed said the rise in fatalities occurred despite a 10% reduction in the total number of road crashes nationwide, with 9,570 incidents recorded in 2024 compared to 10,617 in the previous year. The Corps' data also revealed that while road crashes and injuries saw a slight reduction in 2024, the total number of people involved in accidents increased by 1% from 70,092 in 2023 to 70,530 in 2024. He stated that efforts to enforce road safety laws saw mixed results, while the Corps recorded a reduction in traffic violations, with arrests dropping from 29,220 in 2023 to 21,580 in 2025. The Corps Marshal attributed the increased deaths to human factors such as reckless driving, overloading, and fatigue, as well as tragic secondary incidents like the scooping of fuel from falling tankers, which claimed 411 lives last year. In the meantime, the Osogbo Zonal Commanding Officer of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Assistant Corps Marshal Alphonsus Godwin, has described the recent incessant tanker explosion as unfortunate incidents that need all stakeholders to work together to forestall future occurrences. This follows President Bola Tinubu's directive to traffic control agencies to enforce further measures to prevent any reoccurrence. ACM Godwin stated that tanker owners and agencies involved in loading and unloading of fuel tankers should come together to work out a preventive measure. He attributed the cause of the explosions to bad roads and overspeeding on the part of drivers. He also emphasized the danger of scooping fuel from derailed tankers and noted that the Corps is working on sensitizing the citizens as well as the drivers on safety measures. Meanwhile, ACM Godwin also clarified that the role of Corps is to enlighten road users on safety rules and ensure it is free of any form of violation. He also noted that the police work in a complementary role in ensuring these regulations are enforced.
The issue requires a multidimensional approach. All stakeholders have to be involved in ensuring that this menace is brought to a stop. It's not only the FRSC that is involved. It involves even the owners of these tankers and then the government agencies that are monitoring or supervising the issues of movement of this fuel from place to place. So it involves the entire people, stakeholders that are concerned to come together and ensure that we have a stop to these tanker explosions. The agency is involved in creating awareness and ensuring that the tanker drivers are sensitized to be conscious of what they are carrying. They are carrying very inflammable items, so they should avoid overspeeding and ensure that the tankers are maintained, they are up to standard, and the citizenry too, people are conscientized to avoid places where there is a tanker breakdown. the behavior of scooping fuel from tankers should be avoided. Our functions are very clear, and we are out there performing those functions, enforcing traffic rules and regulation. And that's what we do on the road. And then educating the motoring public to be aware of these rules and avoid violating them. Yes, these are what we do on the road.
And now to the foreign scene, Israel says 8 hostages due to be released in the coming weeks are dead. An Israeli spokesman says the updated hostage list from Hamas matches Israeli intelligence. In the first phase of a Gaza ceasefire, 26 hostages were still due to be released, but that number is now 18. The Israeli government made an announcement as hundreds of thousands of Palestinians returned to North Gaza after Israel opened checkpoints. In the meantime, Holocaust survivors are leading